Friends, Louis here, and today's short message. Dear believer, is it time for you to leave the city? Is it time for you to leave the city? For as our Lord said, if any man would come after me, he must take up his cross daily and follow me. And when we as believers take up our cross, we embark on a journey of certain death. And as we know, our Lord was crucified outside the city. And God is calling us to be like him, to be united with him, for no servant is greater than his master. So I would like to pose this question again. Dear believer, is it time for you to come out of the city? Let's have a look at the cry that goes out within the city. And we can read of this over here in Proverbs 1. Over here, the call of wisdom. Wisdom calls aloud outside. She raises her voice in the open squares. She cries out in the chief concourses. In all the openings and gates of the city, she speaks her words. How long, you simple ones, will you love simplicity? For scorners delight in their scorning, and fools hate knowledge. My friends, we cry out in the city, even as our Lord cried out in the city. John 7, he cries out, come to me. On the last and greatest day of the feast, he cried out, come to me, you who are thirsty. And so, dear believer, we are called to our own household to cry out within the city. But there comes a point where we have to leave the city, even as our Lord left the city. And for that, we can have a look here in Matthew 12, as it says over here, and this is quoting from Isaiah, behold my servant, whom I have chosen, my beloved, in whom my soul is well pleased. I will put my spirit upon him, and he will declare justice to the Gentiles. He will not quarrel, nor cry out, nor will anyone hear his voice in the streets. A bruised reed he will not break, and a smoking flax he will not quench, till he sends forth justice to victory, and in his names the Gentiles will trust. My friends, we cry out in the city as our Lord cried out, but the fulfillment of Isaiah's prophecy was when he went outside the city. And if we read in this passage, it also says in the very next part that the multitudes came to him and he healed them all. Now, while we are within the city, while we are with the so-called believers, we are with the bunch often of the rotten figs. And we can read of this in Jeremiah 24, where he was shown 2 baskets of figs, the rotten figs and the good figs. The rotten figs were within the city. My friends, the Pharisees and all the scorners and the mockers. And let's not forget what it says in Psalm 1, how blessed is he who does not sit in the seat of scoffers. And there comes a time when we have to shake the dust off our feet and separate ourselves from the religious establishment. We need to come out from the city. We need to take up our cross and go outside the city, because there the people come to us. We do not have to keep crying out and speaking out as per Ezekiel 3, that we deliver ourselves. There is the time for that. But there comes the time, my friends, when we come out of the city, and the multitudes will come to us. As it says here, a bruised reed he will not break, and a smoking flax he will not quench, till he sends forth justice to victory, and in his name the Gentiles will trust. We cry out to the household of Israel, the believers within the walls. But my friends, there comes a time when we must leave the city and go and do as the Lord is calling us. Blessings, my friends, until we chat soon.